When the newly transferred campus heartthrob presented me with a cup of milk tea, I was suddenly met with a flurry of comments. Dear protagonist, please do not accept. If you take his milk tea, his genius system will automatically lock onto you, leading to your misfortune. However, if she remains unscathed, the already locked female antagonist will endure far worse. Let us dispense with the saintly sentiments. The vicious female antagonist has not hesitated to clash with the protagonist. What is there to sympathize with? I paused, glancing at a nearby classmate who had also received milk tea. After a brief moment of astonishment, I turned back to the campus heartthrob and softly said, "Thank you." 1. Upon witnessing my acceptance of the milk tea, the heartthrob Zhao Yichen visibly relaxed, as if a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. When his gaze shifted from the milk tea in my hands to my face, my heart clenched tightly. I caught a fleeting glimmer in his eyes, akin to a hunter zeroing in on its prey. More comments floated by lo and behold, it truly is a male-oriented harem drama. The male lead's genius system has efficiently locked in its target. The system, much like the male lead, is rather cunning. Its law dictates that it locks onto two beautiful geniuses simultaneously, ensuring a score that surpasses the higher of the 2 by 5 points. It is a contingency plan to safeguard against academic underperformance. The protagonist is so pitiable she remains oblivious to the fact that she is merely a pawn in the male lead's ascent to greatness. As I watched Zhao Yichen's retreating figure, a wave of dizziness washed over me, and I stumbled slightly. I was, in fact, the female lead in a male-oriented drama. And Zhao Yichen was the male lead who regarded me as a mere piece on his chessboard. Cradling the warm milk teacup, I turned my attention to Zhou Zidong, who was delicately sipping her drink, and approached her. "Is the milk tea delicious?" Zhou Zidong abruptly looked up, her brows furrowed in suspicion and hostility. "I don't particularly enjoy milk tea. You may have this cup," I replied without waiting for her response, placing the drink on the table. Her expression darkened instantly, and she pouted, glaring at me with irritation. "By Mushi, what are you planning this time? Will you ever be done?" I was taken aback indeed. Just a few days prior, we had been in a subtle rivalry over Zhao Yichen, so her misunderstanding was hardly surprising. I managed to smile and gently patted her shoulder. Yet, she recoiled in disdain, swatting my hand away with force. The contempt in her gaze intensified as she prepared to toss the milk tea to the ground. I hastily grasped her wrist, leaning in closer to whisper in her ear, "I merely wish to befriend you. Are you not curious why Zhao Yichen gifted milk tea to both of us?" Her hand, still clutching the milk tea, froze in midair. Her eyes darting around, I released her, keenly observing her expression, and upon confirming she had absorbed my words, I turned to leave. However, my classmates began to murmur and point, speculating that I was engaged in some new scheme. Zhao Yichen seemed to share the sentiment, shaking his head with a chuckle as he watched me. After all, just days before, Zhou Zidong and I had been vying for his attention. As I contemplated this, more comments floated by. "I am on my second watch. Why don't I recall this subplot? What is the protagonist up to? Is she attempting to confront the antagonist in a roundabout manner?" I returned to my seat with a silent sigh. Why must the protagonist engage in conflict with the antagonist? Couldn't I simply make a genuine friend? At noon, I spotted Zhou Zitong weaving through the crowd towards the cafeteria, and I hurried after her. Amidst the throng, she appeared so diminutive. How could Zhao Yichen possibly bear to harm her? I lightly panted as I caught up, linking my arm with hers. Yet, she recoiled as if electrified, casting me a sharp glare before quickening her pace to distance herself from me. Ultimately, I settled at the table opposite her, balancing my tray. Upon recognizing me, her eyes darted, and she nonchalantly remarked, "If you're so eager to befriend me, how about treating me to a bottle of cola?" Without hesitation, I agreed, and promptly rose to procure one. Just as I secured the cola, I noticed the barrage of comments scrolling by at lightning speed. What the heck? I wondered why the supporting character suddenly craved cola. Turns out she wants to add chili to the lead's dish after sending her away. I really don't understand why the lead would go out of her way to please a wicked supporting character. Just looking at the supporting character gives me the creeps. If she's adding chili to her food this time, will she poison her drink next? How perilous it is to be around her. My heart raced. Adding chili to my dish? The cafeteria's food was indeed bland, and given my penchant for spice, I was relieved not to have to scour for chili. Zhou Zitong was rather thoughtful. As I handed her the cola, my gaze brimmed with gratitude. Yet upon meeting my eyes, she swiftly averted her gaze elsewhere. I disregarded her demeanor, picking up my chopsticks to indulge in my meal. "This is delicious. It's been ages since I've had such spicy food," I exclaimed. Zhou Zitong immediately turned to me, narrowing her eyes as if attempting to pierce my intentions. I ate heartily, beads of sweat forming, and sensing her scrutiny, I mumbled through my mouthful, You should eat as well. She offered no reply, instead laying down her chopsticks and regarding me coldly. After swallowing my food and sipping my soup, I inquired, "Why aren't you eating? What's wrong?" A derisive laugh escaped her lips. "Bai Mushi, don't play the fool in front of me. Just say it plainly. What do you want?" I dabbed my mouth with a napkin and smiled at her. "This morning, I asked if you knew why Zhao Yichen sent both of us milk tea, right?" Zhou Zitong's brows furrowed. I leaned closer and divulged everything about Zhao Yichen's academic prowess, omitting the fact that I learned it from the comments. How did the lead find out about the male lead's academic system? How has the lead suddenly become so astute? Is it due to some detail she uncovered? What did I miss? Upon hearing this revelation, Zhou Zitong burst into laughter, nearly doubling over. She jested that I must have read too many novels. Clearly, she was skeptical. But that was all right. She would come to believe me, for the monthly exam was swiftly approaching. Classmates, the results of this month's exam have been released. And the top 3 students are all from our class. Does anyone know who they are? Our homeroom teacher, Yang Jianying, stood at the podium, grinning broadly. I, of course, knew the answer. As expected, after a moment of suspense, the teacher announced, "This month's top student is the newly transferred Zhao Yichen." Applause and gasps erupted from the audience. No one had anticipated Zhao Yichen, who seemed perpetually late or engrossed in comic books, to be a top student. Meanwhile, Zhao Yichen, upon receiving the gazes of his classmates, smiled modestly. Let us also congratulate the 2nd and 3rd place students, Zhou Zitong and Bai Mushi. The applause was sparse, with faint murmurs of derision echoing. Those two study diligently every day, yet they scored several points lower than someone who reads comics all day. Such is the difference between ordinary individuals and geniuses. Zhou Zitong and I were among the rare students exempt from tuition at our prestigious school, which was notably expensive. The envy and resentment from our peers had long been evident, so their schadenfreude came as no surprise to me. Bai Mushi, why has your score been declining? You've slipped from 1st to 3rd. Have you reached a mental block in your senior year and are now aiming for a mediocre university? Wang Hao from the back row kicked my chair and sneered from behind me. After I had rejected his advances, he harbored a grudge against me. Ignoring him, I turned to see Zhou Zitong staring intently at me. From her astonished expression, I realized she was beginning to believe my claims. Suddenly, the comments became animated. Has the plot collapsed, or has the storyline shifted? This doesn't feel like a typical male-centric story. It resembles a female-centric one instead. The lead and the supporting character are not at odds. They seem to have awakened and are ready to confront the foolish male lead. Look, what does the homeroom teacher have in hand? I remember that the lead and the supporting character ended up bound to the male lead because of that, ultimately being drained by him. A chill ran down my spine, and I began to feel anxious. After class, our homeroom teacher, carrying a briefcase, summoned Zhao Yichen, Zhou Zitong, and me outside. You 3 meet the application criteria for a prestigious foreign school. Make sure to take the time to fill out the application forms, he stated, handing each of us a set of application papers for the foreign institution. If we were accepted, it would reflect well on him. He spoke passionately, nearly bubbling over with excitement. Zhao Yichen perused the application, his demeanor instantly invigorated, a broad smile gracing his face. Thank you, Teacher Yang, for your guidance. I will study diligently once I arrive there, and one tea bring you shame. The teacher nodded approvingly before turning to Zhou Zitong and me, awaiting our responses. We exchanged glances, and I spoke first. Teacher Yang, I do not wish to study abroad. My goal is to attend Tsinghua or Peking University through the college entrance examination. The teacher was momentarily taken aback, still processing my words when Zhou Zitong echoed, Teacher Yang, I share the same sentiment as Bai Mushi. I also wish to take the college entrance examination for Tsinghua or Peking University. The teacher's face was a picture of shock, staring at us incredulously for a while before he began to urge us not to be foolish. Upon hearing our refusal of the opportunity to attend a top foreign university, Zhao Yichen's anxiety grew palpable, appearing more distressed than the teacher. He mistakenly believed that Zhou Zitong and I still harbored feelings for him, attempting to entice us to study abroad with him. However, without hesitation, we firmly rejected his proposal. Observing the sudden shift in our attitudes, Zhao Yichen was left bewildered, mouth agape, unable to articulate a single word. Our homeroom teacher, seeing our resolve, became increasingly agitated. Have you too turned into bookworms? This is an opportunity that many would covet, and you are so carelessly dismissing it? Noticing our steadfastness, the teacher gritted his teeth and pointed at Zhao Yichen, declaring, students like him have bright futures. They know how to seize opportunities. Just then, Zhao Yichen stammered, "Teacher Yang, I actually want to prove myself through the college entrance examination as well." The teacher's expression instantly soured. Why are you following them in this madness?" Zhao Yichen remained undeterred, steadfast in his choice. The teacher, deflated, resembled a punctured balloon, his enthusiasm completely drained. With the potential accolades and bonuses he could have earned through our achievements now evaporated, Zhao Yichen glared at us with resentment. He, too, longed to attend a prestigious foreign university. However, without Zhou Zidong and me, he would only suffer embarrassment abroad. Upon returning to the classroom, Zhao Yichen embellished the events of the day, spinning tales that exaggerated what had transpired. Upon hearing the news, my classmates remarked that perhaps both I and Zhou Zidong had been kicked in the head by a donkey. Wang Hao was the first to leap forward, openly accusing me. "Bai Mushi, I have long maintained that your mind is not quite right. Otherwise, how could you have rejected me? It seems you truly are unhinged, choosing to forego prestigious foreign institutions and instead dragging those two with us to compete for this narrow bridge of college entrance examinations." After Wang Hao's inflammatory comments, my classmates swiftly turned their ire toward me. "Bai Mushi, what do you mean by this? If you want to act irrationally, don't drag them down with you. Because of you, Zhao Yichen can no longer attend an esteemed university abroad. Indeed, Bai Mushi, one must not be so selfish. If prestigious foreign universities are beckoning you, hurry and accept their offers, instead of remaining here to vie for our resources." "Exactly. I've noticed your ranking in class has been slipping steadily, down to 3rd place. If you continue like this, who knows how far you'll fall. It's time for you to know when to quit. You are not welcome here. You should leave post-haste." Zhao Yichen gazed at me with a knowing look, as if relishing the spectacle. He sought to exert the oppressive atmosphere of the class to compel me to pursue my studies abroad, thereby allowing him to follow suit and continue leeching off my success. Yet how could I allow him to have his way? I deliberately lowered my head, feigning despair. "My apologies for being an eyesore and hindering your university aspirations. I shall withdraw from school immediately and will no longer compete with you for resources." Upon hearing my words, Wang Hao clapped his hands in delight. The other students either rolled their eyes or snickered derisively. However, upon hearing my intention to withdraw, Zhao Yichen could no longer remain passive and hurried over to console me. "Bai Mushi, my classmates are merely jesting. How can you consider leaving school just because of a few unkind words? Your grades are commendable, and you must not squander your talent." Zhao Yichen understood that if both Zhou Zidong and I were to withdraw, he would be finished, losing not only his top student persona, but likely failing to gain admission to even an ordinary university. I ignored him, packed my bag, and walked directly to Zhou Zidong. "Have you made up your mind? Will you come with me?" At that moment, Zhou Zidong appeared hesitant. Her large, expressive eyes darted about, unsure of what to do. I knew she was weighing whether this course of action was worthwhile. Perhaps Zhao Yichen had indeed outscored her by a mere 5 points due to coincidence? Perhaps there was no invisible system of academic superiority at all? Sensing her hesitation, the murmurs of the onlookers intensified. "Oh no, the supporting character isn't going to falter at a critical moment, is she? Don't blame her for hesitating. The protagonist's actions are far too reckless. Who would dare act in such a way, risking their future?" I grasped Zhou Zidong's hand and whispered a few encouraging words in her ear, allowing her to relax and begin packing her bag. Seeing us both preparing to leave, Zhao Yichen dashed in front of us. "What do you think you are doing? Are you trying to force me to leave school with you?" My classmates were taken aback by Zhao Yichen's boldness. They did not understand why he was attempting to impede our departure. Zhou Zidong and I ignored him, holding hands and carrying our bags as we walked out together. We could no longer live in his shadow. We had to break free from him. As we stepped out of the school gate, Zhou Zidong and I had already devised a plan to persuade our parents to grant us a long leave of absence. Upon returning home, we both informed our parents that we had been accepted into top universities abroad and wished to relax without disrupting the studies of our peers, requesting them to concoct an excuse for our extended absence. Naturally, upon hearing we had been accepted by world-renowned institutions, our parents were eager to comply. The next day, our families arranged for us to take a long leave of absence. When our classmates learned that Zhou Zidong and I had requested this leave, their reactions varied. Bai Mushi and Zhou Zidong must truly have lost their minds. It's their final year, and to simply not show up is too willful. I believe they were just shaken after being overshadowed by a genius like Zhao Yichen and have begun to wallow in mediocrity. Zhao Yichen, Upon realizing we were genuinely not attending school, was left in disbelief, not expecting his double insurance to fail so swiftly, and was at a loss as to what to do next. A month later, the results of the second monthly exam were announced. I secured the top rank in our year, and Zhou Zidong followed closely in second place, while Zhao Yichen, having absented himself, had no score. Zhao Yichen approached us, his demeanor radiating an icy fury. "You two wretches, did you conspire to toy with me? I see you both are simply afraid that I will take first place and overshadow you, hence you orchestrated my absence. Truly despicable." Upon hearing Zhao Yichen's accusations, the onlookers could no longer contain themselves, rallying in our defense. This male lead is truly adept at deflecting blame, managing to twist any situation to his advantage. Thank goodness the protagonist and supporting character are intelligent. It's refreshing to see them thrive. A few of Zhao Yichen's loyal followers gathered around us. "Zhou Zitong, Bai Mushi, you two have won this battle unfairly. However, you may evade the initial conflict, but you cannot escape the final reckoning. Is it so difficult to admit you are inferior?" "Exactly. Zhao Yichen only chose to forego the exam because you took a leave. You both have truly played a dirty trick." Their shameless remarks only serve to amuse me. Whether Zhao Yichen chooses to take the exam is of no concern to us. We never held his scores in high regard. You two should go where you feel comfortable and not disrupt Zhou Zidong and my studies. At that moment, Zhou Zidong fully grasped the truth of my words. If we abstained from taking the exam, Zhao Yichen's supposed academic prowess would be rendered meaningless. Zhao Yichen stepped closer, his gaze like ice. "Since you look down on my scores so much, are you brave enough to wager with me?" A confident smirk graced his lips. "In the next monthly exam, the three of us must participate. If I do not achieve first place, I shall bark like a dog. If I do secure first, you two will wash my underwear and socks for a month." The atmosphere around us erupted with excitement at Zhao Yichen's bold proclamation. Some cheered, others whistled, as if he had already claimed the top spot. Before I could respond, Zhou Zitong eagerly accepted the challenge. "I'm in." A month passed swiftly, and finally, it was time to announce the results of the third monthly examination. The atmosphere in the classroom was palpably tense, with many classmates eagerly anticipating our downfall. Having consistently outperformed them, they relished the prospect of witnessing us falter. Yet, I refused to grant them that satisfaction. Let them continue to stew in their discontent. As a male classmate seated by the window spotted the teachers from the academic office posting the results, he exclaimed as if he had discovered a new world. "The results are out." Wang Hao dashed out like a rabbit. Zhao Yichen deftly twirled a pen between his fingers, casting a glance in my direction. "Bai Mushi, if you regret your decision now, it's not too late. Just apologize, and we can put this matter behind us." Otherwise, I rolled my eyes at him and returned to my math problems. Zhao Yichen chuckled coldly. "So eager to wash my underwear and socks, are you? I have given you a chance. Don't say I bullied you later." The classroom erupted in laughter once more. Before long, Wang Hao returned. Upon receiving Zhao Yichen's expectant gaze, he stammered, "You ranked first among the three of you, scoring 5 points higher than Bai Mushi and 7 points above Zhou Zidong." Hearing this, Zhao Yichen's smile broadened, and he deliberately raised his voice. "As you wished, I shall bring you a month's worth of accumulated underwear and socks tomorrow." Cheers erupted from the crowd. Zhao Yichen flashed a grin at us, while Wang Hao awkwardly cleared his throat. "But you're not the top of the grade." "What did you say?" The smile on Zhao Yichen's face froze instantly, his mouth agape, as if he had suddenly lost his breath. After a few seconds of silence, his expression returned, but it twisted into something unrecognizable when he looked at me and Zhou Zidong. He approached me slowly, like a wounded beast baring its teeth. "Bai Mushi, you did this on purpose, didn't you? When did you discover my secret?" "What secret?" I feigned innocence, widening my eyes like a startled deer. "You?" He pointed at me with a trembling hand, unable to articulate further. This isn't a typical male-centric drama. It clearly resembles a female-centric narrative. The female lead and her rival are so skilled at this game that they've nearly driven the male lead into depression. Zhou Zidong strode towards us, positioning herself protectively in front of me, and smiled slightly at Zhao Yichen. "Can you bark like a dog now?" In an instant, the atmosphere grew tense. Classmates turned to watch us, their eyes glinting with intrigue. Zhao Yichen's friend stammered, unsure of how to respond. Only Wang Hao stepped forward to defend Zhao Yichen. "Bai Mushi, don't go too far. The classmates were just joking. Why take it seriously? Forcing someone to bark like a dog is bullying." Zhou Zidong regarded Wang Hao with a cold smile. Wang Hao, why are you being so hypocritical? Before the results, weren't you the one boasting that we should wash his underwear and socks? Is it not bullying when you say such things to a female classmate? At that moment, the previously silent female classmates could no longer contain themselves, and some stood up to voice their support for us. How dare you boys act like this and then refuse to take responsibility? I saw you all making bets. The way you acted was anything but a joke. Now that you've lost, you're trying to wriggle out of it? I recorded it. If you try to backtrack, I'll post it online for everyone to judge.
Fine.
If you want us to bark, we'll bark. A deal-less a deal. Then Zhao Yichen, with a dark expression, called out twice in a low voice. Just then, our homeroom teacher entered, looking displeased while holding the report cards. Having just witnessed our trio plummet from the top 3 to outside the top 50, he was already fuming. Seeing Zhao Yichen making a scene, he immediately dragged him out. The comments flashed before me at lightning speed. Surely, the director has had a change of heart and decided to reshoot. The storyline now is entirely different from my first viewing. I also watched it a second time. I remember during my first viewing, the female leads were completely toyed with by the male lead, who drained them of their worth, leading one to jump and the other to get hit by a car, while he became a financial mogul surrounded by beauties. I prefer this res hot version. The values are much more aligned with reality. I initially thought that after this episode, Zhao Yichen would quiet down. However, to my surprise, as soon as school let out, he cornered Zhou Zitong and me at the classroom door. I know you've discovered my secret, but no matter how you found out, you can't shake me off. I'm determined to follow you to the ends of the earth. His voice was soft, yet each word sent shivers down our spines. He knew we might intentionally perform poorly in minor tests, but he was certain we wouldn't take such risks in the crucial college entrance exams. It seemed he was resolute in his pursuit of us. Excellent, the bait had been taken. I shrugged nonchalantly and replied with a smile, that's fine. Just don't regret it later. Zhou Zitong also regarded him with a cold smirk. We'll see about that. In the months that followed, I mastered the art of ignoring the barrage of comments. Zhou Zitong and I, invigorated, dedicated ourselves to our studies. Now that we were friends, we motivated each other through our academic exchanges, and our grades soared significantly. In the subsequent mock exams, our scores consistently placed us between second and third in the grade, with Zhao Yichen maintaining the first position, always exactly 5 points ahead of the second. As before, he continued to arrive late to school, either sleeping in class or engrossed in comics, yet his grades remained dazzling. In just a few months, he had become the exam god and scholar heartthrob in the eyes of our classmates. The teachers praised him as a rare talent, thus adopting a lenient approach to his education. Soon, the June college entrance examination arrived as scheduled. When the final bell rang signaling the end of the last subject, Zhou Zitong and I exhaled deeply, stepping out of the exam room side by side with light footsteps. As we exited the school, we heard Zhao Yichen and Wang Hao's voices behind us. Chengge, aren't those two your defeated foes? They still have some charm. Why not recruit them into your ranks? With spirits high, Zhou Zitong and I were not angered by Wang Hao's derogatory remarks. Instead, we turned to mock him. Wang Hao, you're quite the loyal underling. Your master hasn't even spoken, and you're already charging into battle. You. Wang Hao's forehead bulged with veins, and he attempted to retort, but Zhao Yichen raised a hand to silence him. Zhao Yichen raised an eyebrow at us. It seems you both did quite well. Let us meet at Qingbei. I'll continue to keep you under my thumb. Zhou Zitong and I exchanged knowing smiles, silently communicating our amusement at his naivety. After sizing us up, he spoke flippantly. Are you two interested in me? But I'm just one person. I can't be in 2 places at once. Why don't you compete among yourselves? Or perhaps you could share me, one at home and another on the side? Upon hearing this, Zhou Zitong and I shared a knowing laugh. Then Zhou Zitong, with a meaningful glance at Zhao Yichen, remarked, you still fantasize about getting into Qingbei? I doubt you'll even make it to a vocational school. Zhao Yichen's expression darkened. What do you mean? Are you really planning to sabotage me during the college entrance exams? Zhou Zitong chuckled. You'll find out when the results are released. I guarantee it'll be a big surprise. Wang Hao looked at the three of us in confusion. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Chengge, why are you worried about them? When have they ever outperformed you? Zhao Yichen seemed to ignore him, his gaze fixed on us, his complexion gradually paling. I took Zhou Zitong's hand and gracefully departed. Some things only need to be hinted at to instill greater fear and unease in others. On the evening the college entrance exam results were announced, Zhou Zitong and I planned to celebrate together. To our surprise, upon entering the restaurant, we found Zhao Yichen's family had set up 5 banquet tables in the hall to celebrate his admission to Qingbei. The scene was bustling with clinking glasses and jovial laughter. Everyone seemed in high spirits. Upon closer inspection, we noticed that school leaders and our homeroom teacher had also been invited, all believing that Zhao Yichen not only would be accepted into Qingbei, but was also highly likely to become the first provincial top scorer in the school's history. However, Zhao Yichen barely touched his food, staring at the lavish seafood feast with no appetite, his brows furrowed, and an expression of anxiety etched on his face. Excellent. It seemed he had spent the waiting period in a state of worry and unease. Zhou Zidong and I exchanged glances, pleased with this turn of events. We selected a discreet booth nearby and listened intently, eager to witness the unfolding drama. Congratulations, Mr. Zhao, on raising such a fine son. Based on his scores from the last 3 mock exams, he is a shoo-in for Qingbei, and he is likely to become the provincial top scorer. Principal, you flatter me. I'm not educated enough to teach my child. It's your school that does a great job. Your family must have received calls from Qingbei already. Which program is he planning to choose? Zhao's father was momentarily taken aback. Qingbei, recruiting a phone call? Has no one contacted the family? Instantly, the atmosphere fell silent. The homeroom teacher, Yang Jianying, furrowed her brows and inquired of Zhao Yichen, have you not yet received a call from the Qingbei admissions office? Zhao Yichen's breath hitched, his face ashen as he nodded. That shouldn't be the case. However, there have been instances in previous years where Qingbei overlooked applicants, so it should be fine. The principal raised his glass. What could possibly go wrong? I cannot speak for others, but Zhao Yichen is undoubtedly capable of being admitted to Qingbei. His exceptional performance at school is evident to all. Amidst the chorus of praise, the atmosphere grew lively once more. Yet, Zhao Yichen could no longer remain seated, restlessly visiting the restroom several times. Soon, at 8:30, the time had come to check the Gaokao results. Under the eager gazes of the crowd, Zhao Yichen trembled as he entered his examination number on his phone. His hands shook so violently that it took several attempts before he succeeded. As he awaited the results to load, an inexplicable tension gripped everyone present. Finally, the results appeared, a mere 5 points. Instantly, the crowd was left in shock. Zhao Yichen quivered, his lips trembling, his complexion ghostly pale, staring at the phone screen and muttering, impossible, impossible. Meanwhile, Zhou Zidong and I savored our delicacies, watching him with smiles as radiant as blooming flowers. Suddenly, as if sensing our gaze, Zhao Yichen abruptly looked up, locking eyes with us. He charged towards us like a frenzied beast. Bai Mushi, Zhou Zidong, you two are ruthless. How dare you act so recklessly during the Gaokao? But you will not be able to escape me. I will follow you wherever you go for a repeat year. I refuse to believe I cannot outplay you. Friends and family at the banquet followed, but after listening for a while, they remained bewildered, unclear about the connection between his 5 points and us. Zhao's father, filled with disbelief, insisted that it was impossible for anyone to score 5 points on the Gaokao, claiming there must be an error in the system, and insisted they check the results. The principal and homeroom teacher nodded in agreement. Ultimately, Zhao Yichen was escorted out of the restaurant by the crowd. The farce came to an end. Watching their departing figures, Zhou Zidong and I exhaled a sigh of relief. A repeat year? Following us into another year of study? How naive! A month later, Zhou Zidong and I boarded a plane together. We were headed to a prestigious university. Indeed, we had deceived Zhao Yichen. During our month of leave, we submitted our applications to that university. We returned to high school only to elevate Zhao Yichen to a pedestal, then cast him down, ensuring he shattered into pieces, all while allowing him to miss the opportunity to attend a world-renowned institution. In doing so, we not only avenged ourselves but also freed ourselves from his entanglements. Traversing mountains and rivers, we finally arrived at the esteemed university. Upon seeing the much-discussed entrance, our excitement was palpable, and we embraced, tears of joy streaming down our faces. We knew our efforts during that time had been worthwhile, wiping away our tears. We smiled for a photo in front of the university gates. Zhou Zidong even shared the photo on a social media account, aware that Zhao Yichen had been secretly monitoring her updates. As anticipated, upon seeing us at the university, Zhao Yichen was consumed by rage. He transformed into a mad dog, dragging Wang Hao into a campaign of slander against Zhou Zidong and me online. A torrent of false information spread rapidly, disrupting not only our family lives but also our university experiences. At this juncture, The lawyer Zhou Zidong and I hired had gathered sufficient evidence and promptly filed a lawsuit against Zhao Yichen and Wang Hao. With irrefutable proof, the authorities swiftly apprehended them. During the investigation, further illegal activities committed by them were uncovered. As they were transported to custody, Zhao Yichen shouted from the vehicle, claiming he possessed a genius system and could not fathom how things had come to this. Recognizing his unstable mental state, the authorities frowned and took him for a psychiatric evaluation. Ultimately, Wang Hao was imprisoned, while Zhao Yichen was committed to a psychiatric facility. With friends by my side, I quickly acclimated to university life in a foreign land. Our new lives brimmed with richness and excitement. I joined the literature club, while Zhou Zitong enrolled in the Taekwondo Society. We had long cast aside the detritus of our tumultuous senior year. However, one evening, as I returned to the dormitory along a winding path after participating in a literary salon, the long-absent barrage suddenly surged before my eyes, flashing rapidly. Yet, before I could discern the details, I only caught glimpses of danger, danger, danger. In an instant, I froze, a cold sweat breaking out. Just as I contemplated turning back, a shadow lunged from the roadside, gripping my neck with a vice-like intensity. The pressure was overwhelming, leaving me gasping for air, teetering on the brink of asphyxiation. A devilish roar echoed from above. Wretched girl, how did you discover my genius system? How could you have known? If it weren't for you, I would be attending university here too. You and Zhou Zidong should be vying for my attention instead. How did it end up like this? Answer me. Speak up. Madness. He was truly insane. I was on the verge of suffocation. How could I respond? The path was not far from the school's main road, and soon curious students began to gather. The crowd grew larger, yet they were all foreigners, unable to comprehend Zhao Yichen's furious rants. Nor could Zhao Yichen understand the chatter of the onlookers. He had placed a glimmering dagger against my throat, and the crowd, filled with indignation, dared not act rashly. In this standoff, I sensed the tension within Zhao Yichen reaching its breaking point. The dagger seemed poised to pierce my throat any moment. I was truly at the brink of losing consciousness, my body succumbing to weakness as I slowly, unwillingly, closed my eyes. Just as I was about to meet my fate, I heard Zhou Zidong's voice. Zhao Yichen, let Bai Mushi go. She is innocent. It was I who learned about your genius system through the barrage. All the plans were mine. Direct your grievances at me. Upon hearing her voice, I managed to crack my eyelids open just a sliver. I saw Zhou Zitong pushing through the crowd, radiating a brilliant aura, reminiscent of the day I approached her with bubble tea. Suddenly, I felt the pressure on my neck relent, allowing me to breathe deeply again. I heard Zhao Yichen grit his teeth, declaring that neither of us would escape his grasp. With one hand restraining me, he reached out towards Zhou Zitong. In a swift motion, Zhou Zitong pivoted, her legs striking out like a whip, delivering a powerful blow to Zhao Yichen's head. Instantly, he staggered backward, and the crowd surged forward, quickly subduing him. As I lost my balance, Zhou Zidong caught me just before I fell. The story concludes here. Thank you for listening. We shall meet again in the next tale.